All right. How's everybody doing? Think this looks right. Okay. Cool. We say we just catch up, right? Let me just finish one more thing. We want to go to here. All right. Let's just catch up. Celts versus Slavs, Frost 9. Oh, I do have to change one thing. The Gauntlets. Grand Finals. How deep into the game are they? Let's check. Spectator dashboard. Browser. 36 minutes. Okay, so they're still in game one. Oh god. Oh god. That's not capture age. Here we go. Alright, welcome to the Gauntlet's Grand Finals between Frost 9, the GOAT, and Rookie. Good morning, Eisen. We're going to be catching up for about probably 15 for 10, 12 minutes or so. It is DM Michi, so as rough as it is to play catch up for this long, it is kind of understandable that you could argue there's of any mode in Age of Empires that you could fast forward through. I think DM Michi is probably the most fast forwardable one. I wish I was here for the whole thing, but like you said, it's good morning. Did not sleep great and slept through my first alarm, so I'm about 30 minutes late. But, we're here. So we'll catch up shortly. It's going to be an interesting battle between the Heavy Siege. Slavs, of course, do get their wonderful unique unit in the Boyar. But it'll be the Paladins from the Celt, I believe, which is wild. You don't see Paladins ever. Missing Bloodlines is pretty bad. I could see some infantry as well, but I don't think you see that. I mean, it's all about food and gold units. There is $400 on the line, or I think it's the better part. I think it's like $250 to the winner or so. But we are a minute away from the treaty ending. There's a 15-minute treaty at the start. You can't really chop. You can't really attack or do towers or anything during that time. And so it's just time to set up. Frost looks like he's a little bit behind on some of his walls and setups. He usually has more walls. You kind of see this. There's that one relic for the monastery. We'll see if either player actually goes for it. But we're going to see keeps out the gate. And it looks like the chop is going to be happening from Rookie in the middle. Whereas Frost is kind of chopping on the top side. The walls do go up much faster for Frost. Rookie not quite as fast at getting these walls up, and there's plenty of gaps for them to cut through. And some buildings starting to go down. The faster firing Celt Siege, so dangerous, but needs to make sure to have enough room for his units to be able to run through. And there he goes, chopping it open a little bit more. And here come the Boyars, and now we're going to start seeing a bunch of cavalry. And the walls have started going up, but only one wall really for Frost. This seems very open for him compared to normally. There is not a lot here to defend against these Boyars. In fact, holding the gate open, and one Boyar does make it through. It does get cleaned up, though. And the Kelp Paladins will do a good job cleaning it up. The push on the top side is looking very dangerous. I actually am going to turn the sound down quite a bit. Let me know if it needs to be turned down more. It is loud for me. Or at least it's loud enough for me. But Frost has kind of denied this push in the middle and just the one asking questions on the side. He's gotten cleaned up by the Boyars, but there's no siege really at all for Rookie. Just Boyars, which kind of makes sense. If you can get away with just Boyars, it's just food and gold, you should be fine. Woodchopper is going to start being taken down. We can start seeing banks. We can start seeing trade for both players. What are the plays? Slightly higher eco for Rookie, but a lot of those are villagers that are going to get killed at the front. A lot of Woodchopper still for Frost, so he still wants to take plenty of this wood and get that nice wood bank advantage. But Boyars are starting to be up front. I still am shocked by how few. There's not a wall completed in the back. There it is. No. Does Frost know that he hasn't completed that wall? That could be game ending. And not something that Frost usually would end up doing. I feel like we expect more from Frost. There just doesn't seem to be as many walls for him as normal. Like, maybe you only do these one walls. Like, it's been a few weeks since I've asked Michi. But yeah, so it's just gonna be a lot of this for a couple hours. Get ready for the most brain rot Age of Empires experience there is. It is pretty fun. But it is as fun as like YouTube Shorts and TikTok and Instagram Reel. It is turn your brain off, mindless. It's not mindless for the players. It is very intense for sure. But from a caster perspective, it is just non-stop units running into each other's face. Looks like Frost is making some good progress in the middle and on the side. There's a lot of Boyars over here with all the siege behind all these Scorpions. It's going to be hard to really make it anywhere, and you can just see those Boyars melt. Another one, another mass up there. Yeah, so it's surprising that I haven't seen any siege at all from Rookie. That is definitely the interesting thing. It is, I mean, that's going to allow him to get a huge wood bank. You can see he has 30k more wood without having to have anywhere near as many wood choppers the entire time. He's even going full Boyar. And there's finally some siege being mixed in. Besides, I mean, he had it most of it chop. But he doesn't have any siege onagers in the queue or anything. There's not any siege onagers either for Frost. So it's going to be 50 Scorpions and some Halberdiers. So we did make some Halberdiers try to mix in against the Boyars. Yeah, the Boyars are going to be really tough to deal with. The Paladins already pretty weak. And up against fully upgraded Boyars is not a great situation to be in this. So you really do need the mass Scorpions. You do need some Siege Onagers. You could think about maybe some Halberdiers, but I think that is just kind of a mistake. So you're essentially trading favorably, gold, like resource-wise, except for the fact that it is costing you wood to do so. So you're not even winning the trades and spending wood. Unless you wanted to do a really quick push, that could be something, but so now the forward walls start coming in and just dissecting. We're going to start seeing a little bit of the beauty that is DM Michi with the lines all across. But we're just chilling. It's going to be a lot of fighting in the middle for a while. Paladins mostly just used to keep the Boyars in place so the siege can kill them. And the Boyars continue to stream forward from all of the castles to try to take out any siege. Morning, Otter. I'm a little bit behind, but we're here. Good day for chopping. It is. Peaceful. Tranquil. Just a bunch of lads and girls just working hard, earning a living, ignorant of everything else going on in the world. Just a mile north. A field just filled with blood. Imagine how many corpses there are. When you can see there's going to be already 2,000 corpses on the field. Bunch of boyars just waiting to be destroyed. Oh, there they go. I mean, they have gotten around, and they're going to be able to get onto these scorpions. I mean, there's a lot of scorpions, so they're going to be able to deal with this pretty easily with paladins there to help out. But, you know, trading boyars for scorpions is always good. Second cut. So they opened up. Rookie cut the middle. Frost cut the top. And then this opened up quite a bit. This one's just been rewalled. And then nothing's happened really over here. I mean, now we have some stuff going on over here. And some paladins have made it through and everything. But it's mostly been middle and the right side. The right side seems to have been way more of a standstill pretty much immediately. With Frost camping all these scorpions just behind some walls. And Rookie really hasn't added much siege. He's had maybe 3 to 4. Like, this is the most siege launchers he's had all game. It's been pretty much pure boyar from Rookie. And now he has scorpions. So he went pure boyar at the start. Got the wood advantage, I guess. And yeah. A little low on gold, but he should be fine. Has 100k, 146 trade cards, so. These paladins have gotten a lot of kills, I think. They're all gonna die. But they were just over here killing a bunch of villagers, killing a bunch of siege. They've been over there for a hot second, so you get your raids in when you can. Not a lot of raiding to be done. More walls going up. So the scariest thing for Frost, though, at least this entire section right here was uncompleted for a while. So I don't know how he's queued this, but some of the wall got built, but there is a huge important gap. There's also, you know, missing house and a single house wall over here and stuff, so there are opportunities for us to get punished. The trade wall for Rookie is really smooth and fully covered. No houses or anything like that being used. No wood lines being used. And I kind of missed it, but it looked like there was only one. There's some bad wood lines for Frost at the start, so that was annoying to deal with. But that was done. This is now Frost. I think is starting to make a little bit of push here. The multiple walls have really helped. Good morning, totally. Could be a long game. It is. It's already been going on, and we've been fast forwarding for a while. It is 9:48 a.m. and this smash started around 9. We're in for a long haul. It's why I wasn't too upset about getting here late. Like, I wish I'd been here on time, but at the same time, I was like, I can fast forward this, and I assume that game 1 won't complete by the time I get online. Unless this is somehow game 2. And they had like a instant win kind of situation, because as rare as that is, that can happen in these kind of, in Michi, where it's just like, you just lose the initial fight, and things go poorly, and then you just missed a wall, and you're just dead. But that rarely ever happens. And especially, it's like, even a fast win is like 30 minutes, because you have a 15-minute treaty, so there's no way this is not game 1. Slav should win late. Why is it just because they have those Slav farms, and Celts have missing crop rotation? treaty is a pain. Makes most of the games too long. Yes and no, Eisen. Like, the treaty is a pain, but it does mean that you actually get into the format that players want, which is brain rot mode, where you just have all your eco and everything set up. If you didn't have the treaty, it'd be a lot more difficult to get into the pure Michi madness, I think. But crop rotation and better food unit, yeah. Kelp need wood too much. Sets with treaty have been a lot better than no treaty ones, yeah. It'd be one thing if you could do no, like, again, if we had a way to do like Empire Wars start, where all of this was pre-built in a way, you could get away with no treaty. But this is a big push by the Slavs. Making some ground, pushing back in the middle. Frost starting to be on the back foot. There has been another cut over here that seems more accidental, more of a chop through. But some paladins are going through and trying to raid a bit of the wood choppers. But this push in the middle is definitely difficult. Celt Siege, as great as it is a problem when it's Celt Paladins versus Boyars. And now they're through. The wall has been completed. But there's a lot of rough gap tiles that could easily be petarded, that easily could be ramped through. And so I think Frost doesn't I mean, with the siege, I think Frost would be fine with single choke point battles, but it definitely feels that in a single choke point, it's going to allow the Boyars to really shine. Yeah, the Boyars are just, it's so hard to deal with. I do get that the 15-minute treaty, though, definitely means that these games go very, like, there's no chance, there's a lot less of a chance at a quick game. So, wood count's relatively stable. Food and gold, both players looking fine. A little lower on the food for Frost, but his gold's low, but 133, only 133 trade. Probably wants to bump that number up by about another 20 or so to get to 150 to match Rookie. But he's starting to fall back. Frost is kind of dead, yeah. It's looking like it. He's not making much, I mean, the Trebs are setting up along the middle line, and they're going to start ranging the wall. I mean, it's just been, I think, like, Frost hasn't made anything happen. It's just been kind of a straightforward Slavs versus Celts battle in the sense of, like, they're just running their units in. There hasn't been, like, now there's some raids, now there's some pushes and stuff. This is what I think Frost needs to do, because you're not going to, I don't think you can easily beat the Slavs in a straight up one area fight, right? I think the Boyars are just too good. Like, you saw it with Rookie just not even bothering to add siege for so long. Making a pushback. But you open up the map, you open up your paladins to start attacking elsewhere, you start taking advantage of just being one of the best players and having, like, insanely high APM, and you can even see some more Trebs starting to range some stuff. But I think fighting the Slavs in a single spot is just asking to be ground down by the better units. Granted, this little raid on the side really didn't do much, but yeah, those Trebs are starting to just rain hell down onto all these walls. This area is really opened up. This is a juicy area, though. Some Paladins and some Siege Onagers can get in and start landing some shots. That's what we like to see. And here come the Rams. Oh my gosh. Okay, good reaction from Rookie to get the Boyars there. So those Rams could have just melted through all of that, all those Rams, all those Trebs. That would have been beautiful to watch. But Frost is kind of surviving. He has gotten up to 150 trade like we were hoping for. Wood count's pretty even. Gold is still, he's using a lot of gold. He is kind of flatlining, whereas Rookie is starting to bank up some gold. The extra 10 trade cards definitely helping here. We do see a little harassment going there. One single paladin going and sniping that onager. Very smart. These walls have seen better days. And here comes the Kelp Paladins, making it through and starting to take out these Scorpions. Alright, we thought Frost might be dead, but he looks like he survived. The question now is, how does he rebuild these walls? And, when does he rebuild these walls? And can he actually make some push and maybe get some damage in? Boyars are still just so dangerous. They run in and just take out all of these Scorpions. So it's looking nice for a second there. More Paladins coming in. Raining into the Scorpions. But the Boyars are just able to just run straight through and just... they're winning all the trades. Couple wood choppers over here. Treb's starting to come forward to start ranging these walls. So this is what Frost, I think, needs to do, is start, you know, posing problems on every single area that he can. Random siege onagers just firing around. Boyars are to stand ground. But the fight in the middle continues. And Frost didn't take a chance when he pushed back to rebuild this wall, and now the Boyars are in. And there is a lot of opening. Yeah. Little walling from Frost. Is that because he has Celts? Maybe. Like, do they not get an important wall? Oh, they don't get the second wall upgrade, right? There's masonry and then something else. They get fortified walls, though. But yeah, I was shocked from the get-go. Like, it felt like Frost doesn't wall. Like, I usually expect way more spider webs from Frost. You have to win before res. What runs out? Oh, that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of how it is for all the civs, right? They all have to win before res runs out. But, nah, I get what you're saying. Celts are a much more expensive army to maintain than the Slavs. There is not a lot of wood left on the map, so a lot of it is, there is a good amount back in Frost's base. I do always love the random siege ram. That is also what makes Frost so good, is noticing that and sending 3 paladins over to snipe that. A lot of players, I think, would have seen it and been like, I'm not going to worry about it for now. And then they go back and half their walls are gone. Yeah, these Boyars are now coming through and really doing some damage. And as long as the fight is on the production of Frost, he's just going to be on the back foot, and they're going to start maybe sniping some production buildings, taking out these walls. Like, you can even see these walls going up from Rookie. So nice to be able to camp some Trebs behind and stuff. Assuming they don't, you know, stand in the gate and block your units, but it just makes fighting, trying to crack back, so much more difficult for Frost. Siege Rams as well, good reactions from Rookie to send some Boyars over to clean that up. But yeah, once you start losing these production builds, now we see these secondary walls go up. Because, you know, wood is the most important resource, and while stables and production buildings aren't too expensive in the long run, having to rebuild them does take wood, does take production time, does take villager idle time. It does add up. And then you just gain ground, so the reinforcements aren't coming in right away. They have to go run a little bit farther, so your armies aren't as consistently strong. Yeah, it was looking like Frost might be able to make something happen there for a second, but he's been pushed back again, and got a lot of phlegm in my throat. Sorry about that. Yeah, this push from Rookie is pretty incessant. I didn't see the Civ draft. So I don't know what the drafts were. I can try to find it after. I'll try to find it while this is going on. We'll just steal this real quick because we're not missing too much. And here was the draft. We can go over more in detail, but you can see Celtic Slavs are pretty early picks, obviously. But not the first overalls. And the Boyars are through. Here come the Boyars, getting some scouting information, trying to find what they can, gonna kill some villagers. This might actually let Frost notice that he needs to deal with some of these walls. There's a gap right there. Oh no, Frost! Oh man. Brutal. Having to send more paladins there. The villager's not even doing it. The villager got stopped. Hopefully Frost notices. That's a lot of dead trade carts. And there's an opening over here. The Rams of Rookie have been pushing through. And this is all... That gap, yes, the gap was over here. Not that one. There's a gap right here. I didn't see this. This was just me being blind and not noticing. So trade does get cleaned up. Didn't lose too much there. But every little bit does matter. And also, he doesn't... Frost needs to clean that up. This is why you have the half walls mod. Well, that was exciting. Back to another hour of this until another breakthrough happens somewhere. Gonna have some tea. Have some lemon tea. Some good tea. But yeah, the fight started to be on Frost's side pretty significantly. You can see just on the minimap, the dividing line, we have Rookie crossing it pretty handedly. Paladins being annoying here and there, but there's so many castles. That is one of the nice things about having a composition composing mostly of unique units, is that it kind of incentivizes you to build so many castles everywhere that these small like little raiding parties tend to get cleaned up. Like, yeah, there's plenty of castles for Frost 9 for the Celts and stuff, but like I feel like you can just, those are all just defensive and not in place that really help with, like the castles from Rookie are much more forward than they are for Frost, which like could be a problem later on, but it does mean that like early pressure can help be bounced back a little bit more. Anyways, how is everybody doing today? Cheaper for Slavs? Yeah. Yeah, the Slavs get their, oh, they get the cheaper siege too. That's what I always forget about. And 40% of their castle and watchtower line is replaced with wood. Oh, yeah, that's huge. For some reason, I always thought that Slavs get the extra armor on their siege, but that's toothless now that I think about it. I know Slavs have really good siege, but I was thinking that it was just it was the extra armor, but the extra armor is on the Boyars. The extra armor siege is Teutons, and Slavs just get cheaper siege, which helps a lot in this map mode, in this game mode. Wood count's still even. Gold banks for both players starting to build up. Rookie's bank definitely looking a little bit spicier, a little better, with 36k gold in the bank. We'll see if Frost feels the need to do the build deletion or something like that, and try to like really heavily win a fight in the middle. I think that would be a little bit too early, but... And now the Scorpion's not getting blocked. Will be going forward. And we just do have these random rams from Rookie. I really like these rams. It does force reactions out of Otter. And... Or not Otter, Frost. And, Otter's in the chat. But these rams are, just a lot of walls have been cleaned up over here, so forcing Frost to... You're the teal player? Yeah. You mean you're losing against... You losing with Celts, is what I'm hearing? Yeah. Go back to the meat grinder. Beautiful. Oh. Yeah, it's really interesting that I don't think there's been, like, there's not a lot of fights in multiple areas. It's good paladin flanks, but Rookie notices that. Totally win this with 5 extra cuts, unlike that Frost Nub. I don't know, Rookie's looking really strong here. Celts are also bad at that. Yeah, I suppose they do want their siege in one spot. And I know Frost is kind of like the SO guy. And going into Slavs, you're kind of screwed both ways. But I don't know, it's the... I always expect Frost to, like... If Frost needs to win, it would be, like... If there's one thing he can rely on, it's just his insane DM experience and making things sloppy and messy. And I think multiple cuts can do that. Like, Rookie's no slouch, but... They want one hard all-in push, but that's not Frost style. Right. Yeah, that's I think the problem, is that as good as Celts are, they feel antithetical to Frost. Like, Frost, I think, is best when he has multiple fronts and he's winning all of them, and you just can't keep up with him. But when he's forced to kind of fight in one spot, especially against Boyars, it is tough to deal with. Yeah, now he's pretty much into the base. And here we go. Here are some Rams. No Paladins supporting. But the Boyars are unaware. We have some good progress being made over here with very fast Celt siege Rams. Now the question is going to be, how far do these get, and how much damage can Frost get because of this? What's up, Euphory? We're watching the meat grinder. The Gauntlet in action. Frost is on the back foot, surprising everyone that game one. I think Frost is by far the favorite. I think Rookie was an underdog this entire, like, for most of the tournament, right? No one really expected him to make it as far as he did. Or was he kind of like the number 2? Rookie was seed 2, never mind. I take it back. It was, I think, who got 3rd? Wasn't it? It was like Biotine was making all these upsets in losers brackets. Is the expected finals? Yeah. So I know, Otter, you outplaced your seed massively. Like, I think you had the best. Biotine was a huge surprise. Yeah, you and Biotine, I think, both were the big, like, seed outplacements. Alright, so that got cleaned up. Bunch of Boyars there. But I mean, that does get... I mean, there's more walls here now, but... Any progress is kind of good progress right now for Frost. Oh, you are stinky, my boy. Everyone say hi to Ace. He's on my lap. We'll see how long this lasts before he's like, I'm gonna get out of my lap, walk on the desk for a nice 3 seconds, and then turn around and be like, why am I not on your lap? Ace cam where? I am not... I mean, there'll be during the intermission in 3 hours when this game's over. But, you know, I could swap scenes and everything. But one of the problems, too, is that if I start moving too much, then he's like, whoa, whoa, this is not cool. And so, he will get up and move. But this is starting to look pretty bad for Frost. Frost has no wood choppers, down to 48k wood. I mean, Rookie is down to 23k wood. So we are starting to get to this late game situation. There is still plenty of wood on the map. Reasonably plenty. We have 8k there. And that's all that remains for Rookie. Whereas Frost has some wood lines stored up in the back. 13k there. Nothing there. So he could... Frost could hang out here. It's hard to judge if you were winning. I mean, I think Frost knows that he was winning this because there's no lumber camps ever from Rookie over here. So Frost might have the idea that he did win the wood game. There's some wood here still as well. And here. And here. But yeah, Rookie might just not have enough wood to keep this through. But I mean, Frost really has to hold on to this. Oh, and they're in the trade. Ooh, this is bad. Right as we were saying, there's a chance. This is going to really eat into Frost's wood bank. You really cannot afford that right now. And yeah, and this is where crop rotation really comes in clutch. And the Slav farms are just, what, 10% faster? 15% faster. Down to 1,200 gold, so no gold bank. He knows when to invest, yeah. But I mean, Frost's still up in wood. Needs to get his gold count back up to a reasonable amount. But this push is starting to be a problem. I think, you know, yeah, finally walled that up. That wall definitely could have been the deciding factor here. This is looking really dicey. I don't blame Frost for not tapping out here. Because I think in his mind, it is up to Rookie to prove that Rookie has enough wood to win this match. I think Frost has deduced that even though he is losing, he likely had more wood, especially with the Celt chopping bonus. Frost lets him kill 3 traders 3 times. Dude camp here, bro. Yeah. What's up, Slappy? That guy still falls over. We'll like to see 3 or 4 trebs. Hey, Otter. Here's some 3 or 4 trebs. Yeah. And the boyars are overwhelming. I wonder if there's an opportunity here for Frost to delete trade and bills to try to push us back and try to win off the back of wood. Here come Halberdiers. A last-ditch effort to try to clean some of this up. Halberdiers, bonus damage, of course, but against boyars, they're just going to get melted with how many boyars there are. Rookie down to 12k. Frost hanging on. This could be the close snail biter. Like, it is purely if Frost can hold on long enough. I think any other game state, Frost would have resigned by now. But I think he knows the wood counts. That is where the experience and the skill comes in. But that castle going down does mean this middle area is so exposed. All these TCs will go down. Has gotten the relic. All these boyars are going to die to these defensive castles. Yeah, I think only one castle in the middle is kind of dangerous. These houses are going to fall so much faster than the walls. The harassing by Rookie is why you want? Yeah. One house falls. There's not enough military here to defend against this, and they're going to get into the trade. Trying to make some defensive walls in the back, but only one villager doing so with the Trebs moving forward. Frost is almost surviving. almost at the point he can bleed through his opponent's resources. Needs to get these walls up. Needs to hang on and just cockroach a little bit longer. It is looking bad. One house remains. And Rookie's not even losing much in the way of wood anymore. Yeah, there's a lot coming and it's a little bit too far away. Having to clump it up. The walls are up. The trait stays alive. But there's just still a massive 50 military advantage at least. Civs as well? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say that Celts aren't the favorite in a Michi or in a DM game with their siege, but it kind of makes sense the way you explained it. And I feel like it's a matchup that isn't as bad. Like, I mean, the game went for 2 hours game time, right? Like, it's not the worst matchup. So you could say there's a Civ advantage. I don't think it's a Civ win. I could be wrong there, but I just don't ever foresee a world where Celts of all Civs are a Civ loss. Even against the best Civ, I think you just can't expect that, right? Celts are overrated in 1v1. That's fair. But we caught up, and at least I think we caught up. I expected we do. But yeah, so Celts lost. Slavs won. So we can take a look real quick. Here it is. No Tatars, no Teutons. Okay, no flaming camel bullshit. Frost behind the score. Rarest act of old, yeah. I mean, Frost down 0-1 seems very rare, right? And bans. Persians got bans. No elephants. Khmer banned as well. And I think we've seen Romans a few times. So 3 pretty notable bans there. Persia's here. Persia got first admin ban. Which I kind of like. I kind of like when the top civs. Oh, yes, we're on casting. I see. Sorry. Also, Ace went away, so no Ace cam. Sorry. Persians. Here's everything. Frost had a chance to win if he didn't lose traders and kept attacking the south of Rams. Yes and no. He was really struggling against the Boyars. It was tough for him. Okay, so we haven't fully caught up. But let's load right in and try to catch up. Well, I actually have to do this first because I'm an idiot. Malay, I think that's what I saw. Malay versus Sicilians. Did he mean to pick Malians? We got some crazy tech here. Maybe he's up a game that he feels like he can just kind of play this for fun. Eco game tuning, yeah, that's what it looks like. Welcome to game 2. We have Rookie on the left side with the Malay. And on the north, down 0-1, surprisingly, is Frost. Playing the Sicilians. I mean, at least Sicilians get donjons and pretty solid siege, right? They don't get bonus damage. Their knights are strong. They do get the extra armor on their paladins. Oh, they only get cavalier. They just get full siege upgrades. They don't get bombard cannons, but, you know. So they don't get any bonuses to their siege. They do get to do First Crusade at some point, right? Is that how it works? Like, First Crusade is available. Which is just like a bunch of free, like, you just make 200 sergeants at the very start, send them in, and then be like, alright, cool, that was free. Malay battle elephants are way cheaper. and they get pure food, two-handed swords, which I don't think is the correct play, but like it would be pretty fun just to see pure swords played, right? I mean, I assume they're just gonna go elite battle, like the cheap elephants, right? The map is a little bit interesting with the kind of more divided area. Means that this trade is very close for Frost. Frost already lining up to go for a very fast push here with a lot of siege rams. And not, I mean, then the chop on the top side with these. Yeah, this is gonna be, these are the interesting Michi setups where the wood line is very like angled and just leads to pretty fast attacks because you can pretty much immediately threaten your opponent's trade. And I do think that's an admin DQ, the Bombard Tower. I think fired at 1459. No fortified walls either. Masonry, no fortified walls. Masonry, no fortified walls. Correct. So those walls are going to collapse. Maybe that's what the siege rams are for. The elephants are here to stop this push. And there is nothing in defense for Frost. Just walls. And the walls haven't even completed. Oh, this could be a disaster class. Oh, this is going to be bad. Oh, no, Frost. Okay, villager going over there to try to do this. I think Frost is just going... This is a full eco all-in with the rams and everything. Knock, knock, Frost. There is nothing here to defend. There's one villager building walls. Oh, this could be dangerous. This is getting go. Slow down for cuts. Yeah, we'll go for a normal speed. I was hoping to catch up because we're close to live. Alright, some halberdiers here are nice. There's not a lot of siege. I mean, there's a lot of elephants who are just stuck around, but they're going to be through. And Frost looking like he's starting to do some donjons up front. Trevs are setting up. This might just be a base trade. There is no defense here. Desperately trying to get some walls up. Some only siege workshops over here. Cannot deal with these elephants very easily. But, I mean, Frost is pretty much through. Destroys the market. Stops his opponent's trade. Okay, mid-market's going up. So even if this gets pushed back, I mean, he has damaged the trade pretty heavily. And this has gotten cleared up. I don't know how this got cleared up. But, I mean, some siege... I mean, we've talked about Frost with siege onagers is one of the most deadly forces in all of Age of Empires. And he's cleaned this up with some halberdiers. Nothing but a squad of halberdiers and 2 siege onagers. No defensive bombard cannons? Yeah. And this push is just so deadly. The donjons just continue to creep forward. Like, that is the nice thing, is that you can just... With donjons being so central to strategies, you've claimed this entire area. We've seen the controversies about donjons in regular open deathmatch, but this is what you can see with just the Zerg creep, the creep spread. So this early push from Frost, paying dividends, essentially taking over his opponent's corner of the map. Doesn't need to worry about this, as villagers have come forward to try to re-wall, but the elephants are here to meet them. But this isn't anything too dangerous, I think, that Frost can't deal with should he need to. I think all the focus is down here with just a massive push. The donjons completely cutting off this side of the map. And there's no, like you said, there's no bombard towers or no bombard cannons to be able to push this back easily. And elephants might be tanky. They might have the extra armor. No, they're just cheaper. But with this many donjons, it is going to be so hard to push into. Less armor? Are they missing an armor? Oh, they have the other armor. Oh, it's Cav armor. Duh. Right. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Yeah, no, of course. Malay elephants. That's what I thought. Malay elephants are cheap, but they're not great. In this game, Frost showed no mercy. Yeah. This was... I mean, it was very dangerous here. Frost almost got caught, like, just unready. Like, Frost almost died as well. He held on just barely. I mean, this push is a little bit scary, but I don't think it's anywhere near as dangerous. 2-hour game and a 30-minute stomp. Hey, I appreciate it. We get up to game 3 by 10:30. That would be huge. Yeah, this game's over. There is no trade. What a push from Frost. I wonder if Rookie was expecting Frost to use like a top Civ for him. And was just trying to balance it out and like, but Frost, I think with how people are seeing the Civ matchups play out in Nations Cup, I think people are starting to really value the full game 5, like 5-game Civ planning more, because like we've seen in the past week or two just like how important having the right civs at a time, and eco rounds are now like it's kind of spicy. All the gold for Rookie is gone. Yeah, still has plenty of wood. Could sell wood. I know you never sell wood, but you might be kind of out of options here. That is a lot of elephants pushing into this, but the Cavalier with the extra armor, the Hover Knights with the extra melee armor, they are Cavalier, but they do get +2, like an extra 1 melee here. Gonna be huge. 6 melee armor, 16 attack, versus 2 armor, 18 attack. So elephants will still win that, and there are getting a nice pushback here, but I mean, once these elephants start going down, and Frost even now taking advantage of that north cut that Rookie made at the start of the game, and starting to thread some units in here to cause problems. Chop didn't pull out a heavy scorpion, as in Rookie. I don't think we've seen a heavy scorpion, yeah. He may have had some in his initial push, but this is a lot of elephants. And I mean, even with the lower gold, I mean, the Malay elephants are very cheap, right? Mid-trade has been set up again. How much are the elephants? It just tells you the tech, unfortunately. He is pushing this back a little bit. I mean, it is going to be a question of can he survive on low gold. If he survived this, Frost is getting these spiderweb walls. This is much more of the walls we come to know and love from Frost. So he's able to fully focus on this. Just massive push. And yeah, now the elephant number is starting to drop. Cavaliers starting to mass up. Stealing the wood. Gonna get some super forward siege workshops. I would even love to see some vertical walls here. Right? I think this is a spot where like extra walls on your opponent's side of the field would be quite the statement. That is a lot of dangerous knights. Do donjons fire multiple arrows? Looks like it, right? Or those scorpions, maybe. So yeah, Frost just kind of playing the drain your opponent of all of his resources, but it's not, like, mid-trade. It's not the most mid-trade, it's about 3/4 trade. Only 79 carts for Frost. He's starting to dip into his resource a little bit. Paladin's gonna go up and start hitting these wood choppers. Frost is low on wood. And I mean low on wood on 50k gold, 50k wood, but still not nothing. And now the bombard cannon's starting to pressure into the Sicilians wall up top. Some siege hunters are in defense. And Frost is through into the trade again. And Rookie calls it, yeah. Alright. He was holding on for a hope. But we have a quick game 2. I had the score wrong, sorry about that, but it's right now. Alright. That was quite the push from Frost, and just shows how good Donjon creeping can be. So before we hop right in and catch up to live, we can take a look. Yeah, they both used their last drafted Civ. That's wild. So that's gonna leave. I expect to see some power Civs now that it's game 3. I expect Hindustanis versus Bengalis. That's what I'm expecting. Hindustanis versus Bengalis. Could also see Georgians versus Bulgarians or something. But I think we're going to be seeing some camel wars. Man, I wish I had a pop. Oh, I need some caffeine. Alright, Ethiopians, Burmese. I was wrong. And we will try to catch up to live time. And we have a much more standard Michi map now. Plenty of space for both players to build their trade and their walls and everything. This little wood line could be a little bit annoying if Frost doesn't chop it right away. Frost draft is way better. Yeah. It looks that way. I do appreciate that I think both players do go for relics. Beautiful. Like, I know he's going to continue this later, but it is kind of funny that it's just like, alright, build these 2 partial walls. You have to build a wall and keep them out, and it's not going to keep people out. They're just walking past. No sound? I turned it down a bit. I can turn it up a little bit, but I was zoomed out, so. Was just far, yeah. I mean, right now there's not a lot going on to zoom into, so it's just kind of nice to see the Ant SimCity kind of style stuff, where it's just, you know, city builder kind of stuff. Finals on the top are cut off. Maybe move the Gauntlet to the left and have only grand finals on the right. How do I do that? Like, grand finals? Like that? Won't that just... Okay, that works. I thought the override would overwrite that or something, but okay, that makes more sense. Good point. So, I mean, let's talk about the matchup a little bit. Ethiopians, of course, with torsion engines, siege workshops. Otherwise, they'll be doing camels, I assume. Camels plus torsion engines is pretty dope. Probably won't be seeing cavalier. No husbandry or no bloodlines is kind of a problem. But the Burmese, Aaron by, I doubt we'll see. They get the mana per cavalry, which is pretty nice. Well, that's only against ranged. They get the battle Howdah. That's what they get. The battle elephants. +1/+1. and then they get the extra +1/+1. So their battle elephants are very tanky. And then on top of that, their siege is fine. They only have onager. They do have bomber cannons and siege engineers. They do get architecture and fortified wall. Rookie only does get the same as well. So, all right, cut through is here. We've caught up to live time. Ethiopian has the worst cav in the game, so they say. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, camels are still pretty solid when it's going up against elephants compared to, like, paladins, right? Even if they are pretty, or like cavalier or something. Alright, here comes Frost with multiple cuts. This is what we like to see. 3 cuts on, 1 cut in the middle, 2 cuts on the flanks, with the Ethiopians being a bit slower even with camels. The Burmese elephants going to be able to power through on multiple flanks if Frost so chooses. Looks like he might back off on this left cut. The middle and the right seem to be where he's fine taking the fights to. And yeah, torsion engine's going to be incredibly important at dealing with elephant clumps. But you need the micro to be able to survive. Because if the onagers fire and take out half your own units, then not a great situation to be in. Not the best chop through here, but expecting Frost to clean it up, but he's more concerned about getting these elephants into his opponent's base. A couple walls do remain. Triple cut play. Yeah, looks like he's going to recontinue this cut. He took his eye off the ball for a moment there. But this does mean the middle is going to be very, very dicey. And only 1 wall here. Okay, Frost has a villager going and building that. Needs to make sure that there's no gaps. There's a gap. Frost, don't do this again. Frost. Like, is he just off his game? I feel like I expect more from Frost. But, I mean, this is what we expect more of, is these side pushes, these flank pushes, doing all this damage back up to the last wall. This could be dangerous. Elephants, I think, can make it through this. There's a gap here. And, I mean, you can run with the TC. Only this back corner is what's solid, so that's far ways to run for the elephants. There's no castle over here, though. Nothing to defend. All the castles are kind of in the middle. And we have a third push on the side. There's no castle. There's some camels over here. These pushes are going to be dangerous. But this does mean the middle is extremely exposed. And like we said, Frost walls are not great. What's up, Anomaly? Yeah, sorry about the pre-rolls. It is the best way I've found to make it so I think I get 30 seconds of ads every hour otherwise. Hey, what's up, Anomaly? So the pre-roll means that I only need to do 30 seconds of ads every hour, which is huge because having a 3-minute ad is fucking brutal. I lose money, but I don't really care about the money. Because, you know, 10, 15 viewers. The series is interesting. The first game went to 2-hour game time. No, I mean, I find it interesting, and also I recommend it for other people because it means that one upfront ad at the start means a much more better experience later on. So, I mean, and the reason I'm explaining it is because I know this is your tournament, but it is DM Michi. We have time. We can chill and talk about other stuff. So game 1 was a 2-hour resource game, Slav versus Celts. Rookie won that. It was a long, draining game, and Frost just got slowly whittled away, slowly pushed. Game 2 was Sicilian versus Malay. It was essentially double eco round. I think Rookie was hoping that Frost would use a more powerful one, and Frost it was a 30-minute stomp. He pushed, it was a diagonal Michi generation, and he pushed onto the short side, and Donjon crept and just immediately took out trade. So, how do the side pushes die? Just a bunch of camels. Bunch of siege. Sorry for not paying attention, but I mean, the side push died because Frost had to send everything to the middle. And he couldn't reinforce the side pushes. The middle is just too dangerous right now for Frost, and he's losing ground still. Torsion Engines Micro has just been stellar from Rookie. Like he's lost a lot of buildings up front. He's lost his walls. Also Anomaly. Frost has been very sloppy with his walling, which is a shock to us. Like there's not a hole there, but there's a hole right here. There's a hole pretty much in the exact same spot game 1. This hasn't been completed. He has markets, he has woods. I think he may have chopped through over here. He's finishing that up, but he has a hole right here. So Taylor more walling and DM Michi to Frost 9 playlist style. Yeah, it feels weird. It feels like he's just not either into the game or off his game, or he's not like woken up yet. But his walling, like in the second game, even in the second game, it wasn't really where you expected as much. It just feels he might be too much in the DM Nations Cup mindset into opening, and his walling just isn't there right now. But this is not taking anything away from Rookie so far. This feels like not the Frost we're used to. Frost played too much Team Islands? Maybe. That could be it. So he's making the pushback in the middle. The Howdah Elephants, very tough, very strong. But Scorpions... So the Scorpions don't get splash damage, right? Like Torsion Engines doesn't affect Scorpions. Like they still get their pass-through and everything, but they don't have that. They do? That's crazy. So it's like double splash, okay. Yeah, I guess it just makes the bolts thicker. Right? Yeah, I mean, everyone loves to think about the 10 times mod. The force nothing 10 times mod torsion engines when you're just like, alright, nuke half the map in one go. But yeah, I guess if the Scorpions have that, that's just so stupid. And looks like a little bit more chopping is going on. Maybe a little bit of cleanups here, but no. Doesn't look like Frost wants to push in the sides. He kind of has to deal with his middle push. I mean, that's the other thing we've noticed in the first game Anomaly. I mean, granted, Otter's argument was that Celts versus Slavs, you really need to do a single push. But similar in this game, I think Frost's best skill is pushing in multiple areas and making the game messy and confusing and really letting his, like, years of experience of being the #1 DM player just shine. But game 1 and game 3, he has been forced into a solo fight in the middle. And that's where it's just like, once you're in that situation, it is purely a Civ matchup problem. And in those Civ matchups, Frost has been, like, I think in this case too, it's like fighting through a choke point. Who wins? I think the Ethiopians do. Fighting in multiple fronts, Burmese are gonna probably win. So it's been very weird. Works against most DM Michi players. Rookie. Now we're talking about the 3 top DM Michi player from China. He's very observant. Yeah. But it's like, it's one of those things where you can't, even if your opponent knows it's coming or anything, you still have to, like, I think you still have to do it because you're going to lose the fight in the middle, right? Like, you need to force your opponent not to do the 1v1 fight, because then it becomes less of a, not a skill issue, but you're just losing against torsion engines, right? Like, elephants are great. Against camels and torsion engines, it's just not a good matchup. And so you need to force your opponent to react to you. You need to split their forces. And Frost just isn't doing that. I feel like most days he probably would have. Here comes a few more elephants trying to snipe these bomber cannons and the siege onger. And good reaction from Rookie right away. As you said, very tough to punish when Rookie's that cognizant and that aware. So another good Civ matchup for Rookie, though. Alright, it is cough drop time. Frost can spam the elephant army as long as he has a supporting eco. Burmese cheaper elephants. One torsion engine is very difficult to ignore. Yeah. Not sure this is. You like Burmese more? Yeah. But I think, like, comparatively, and sorry for going away from the game, but we'll take a look at the draft. Like, I think of the matchups you could get with the Ethiopians, I feel like the Burmese is a pretty solid matchup for them. Just because when Frost is playing a little bit more into like single fight, I think you can kind of deal with the elephants better. That is the wrong one. Every time. Good pushback, and these elephants are causing some problems. They sniped some of the bomber cannons. They sniped some of the siege. Of course, pulling a little bit of reactions. And here come the frost walls. That's what we like to see. And he even has these onagers on this side, sneakily, maybe try to chop a little bit. Especially for Frost, who's, you know, is known as the SO guy, right? He's forced to use regular onagers against a better siege unit army. It feels like it's just not the style of gameplay he wants to do. Not saying Frost can't do elephant armies, but he feels much more like he's not a elephant army kind of guy. I think he'd much rather have the camels and the siege. I think if the civs were reversed, Frost would be in a much happier position. Alright, all important. We do have the relic for Frost. No relic picked up. Relic hidden behind the stable. But Frost, always... Everyone take notes. Grab your relic. Get an extra 3k gold. Make sure the relic doesn't accidentally wall you in any way. I do think that Michi with Relic Victory... I really do think Michi should have Relic Victory. It'd be so stupid. It would never come into play except the one time, and it would be hype as fuck. Because, like, imagine you forget, and then a monk comes in, steals the relic, and escapes. And you're at a point that you don't win the game immediately from getting that deep into your opponent's base. The answer always is just you move the relic into the trade line, like you put your monastery right there. But still. Alternate win conditions are fun if they are incredibly unreasonable to get. Except for like 1 out of 1,000 games, you're just like, that is a masterpiece. All the dead elephants. Those onagers are not even on stand ground. Or not even on an aggressive stance. They're not even attacking walls. Looks like Frost is trying to rebuild his walls, add some gates. And elephants are starting to come forward a little bit. The fight's starting to be a little bit more even and balanced out. And we do see a little bit of action down here. Some elephants sent here. There's a single wall, or a single fortified gate protecting this, and no one attacking. Oh no, there are a couple elephants attacking. But it is slow rolling. Resource check. Frost low on wood. Slow and steady wins the race. Yeah, Frost is much lower on wood, but still fine. Not a lot of gold in the bank for Rookie, but should still be fine. So we got plenty of wood on the map, and the camels are ones to get into the back lines. This is just such good fighting from Rookie. Scorpions start moving up. Rookie needs a wood to win, yeah. And Frost isn't doing what Otter does, which is like going wall, like, because I think what Otter would have done in this situation, even though he's losing the fight in the middle, Otter, at least, his main thing is you get this opening and you go forward and just wall off your opponent's wood. I don't know if it would necessarily work when you're on the back foot, but especially against the Ethiopians who have a steady income of wood for all their siege, could be a case. But yeah, Frost still on the back foot. Walling Eagles map control and towers along the front wood lines, possession of wood, yeah. And again, I think like other days we probably would have seen more of that from Frost. But I don't know. It's not his best showing. Elephants just get nuked before they can get onto the Scorpions. I mean, they are through here and causing a little bit of difficulty over here, but this should be quickly reacted to. A couple bombard cannons staying put in the back line behind the walls. We'll be able to snipe these elephants slowly but surely. So not really any damage to be done over here. I thought there was a hole there, but there is not. The elephants don't even take out the TC. So, a little bit of a side push, doesn't really do much. Looks like Frost kind of stabilized once again, but it is definitely struggling for him. Yeah. Only 120 trade carts. It feels very low comparatively to the 150 of Rookie. Now Frost starting to run out of gold a little bit. How many camels kill one battle elephant? Let's think about the math. 11 damage per camel. And against 6, or camels get bonus, right? They do bonus 18. So that is 29 damage versus 6 armor, so 20, so what, 20 damage, 23 damage or so. So that is 5, 10, 15 or so attacks. It's probably 3 camels. Or probably 2 camels, right? The elephant does 18 attack versus a camel which has, so it'd be 9. It's probably 2 camels. I mean, this is a nice pushback here. Frost made some ground, but all the elephants died to the Scorpions. It is just like looks like he's gaining some ground, and then the Scorpions just fire a couple volleys, and the Torsion Engine Scorpions just melt everything. This is one of those situations where I've talked about where it feels really bad, but you might want to consider adding Hussars. I think there is some meta for Hussars, because if you can add a few Hussars in and force the Scorpions to fire at like the Hussars as they go to the sides, and the elephants actually have a chance to get onto the back lines. It's not great, but the elephants are just too slow that Scorpions can just non-stop fire, right? They just get so much value, and even if the Hussars run in and like are right here and aren't doing any damage, at least the Scorpions are then firing there, and the Scorpion bolts don't land onto the elephants until it's too late, right? Mojito coaching Frost? I mean, this is the classic, like, I've said this multiple times. I don't think I'm correct. But I think it's like, even like we saw it in the water in Deathmatch Nations Cup, where everyone has been talking about for the past, since the changes, demos are useless. And we watched Swiss versus, what was it yesterday? Swiss versus was it Swiss USAA? Yeah, Swiss USAA. And mixing in some demos were huge. And like I don't think demos are the play anymore, but I think at least in that game, like we saw just USAA had done their research and like practice, and we're like actually doing a fight with the and adding some demos into it, just it devastated Swiss on water. Like Switzerland was doing a really good job of taking the fight to them and everything and holding off and everything, and then USA started mixing in a few demos, and it just the armies evaporated. And I think that's just a kind of blind spot that a lot of DM players might have, where they're like, here's the best unit, we have the resources to make the best unit, just keep making the best unit. Without really considering too much about mixing in some other stuff. Cannons hit like onagers from Castle Age. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's not looking good for Frost. He might be down 2-1. They are into the base. They're taking out these production buildings. Scorpions are being taken out. Yeah, the heavy Scorpions just feel like they just do so little compared to these Torsion Engine Scorpions. When was the last time Frost lost to Michi Finals? When was the last time Frost lost to Finals? It doesn't matter what game mode. It's like Viper when he was like, oh, Viper's in the finals, congratulations. Viper's in the tournament, congratulations, Viper wins the tournament. Deathmatch, RM, anything at the time. But yeah, this would be quite the upset, right? Like, yeah, it's only the second seed. You know about the open, right? I'm just saying that it's one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, like he's the best closed and open. It's pretty crazy. That's a series or a match. I mean, both. When has he not won? How many? I don't know how many DM Michi tournaments there are, but haven't they all won? Match was in winners bracket. Yeah, true. I always forget that match is a single game in this, which like makes sense. I'm used to like set in games and stuff like that, but. v2 DM Michi tournament. Nice. No real flank pushing. Yeah, the question really is like, because I assume in those tournaments that he lost a set, he came back and won in losers, right? Frost getting a nice little pushback here, but I mean, he's gonna push back to about maybe a little bit closer to mid. Rookie a little bit late on getting these back walls up, placing a bunch of random gates, but could definitely get them more secured to prevent any crackback. We do see some elephants going forward now that the path's opened up a little bit. Yeah, I don't think Frost has ever lost a DM tournament, closed or open, since he became like the top DM player once Viper moved out of DM. Otter, you'll know when that is. When was he lost opens? Oh, I was not aware. I thought he's just won everything. I know he's at least win. Since when is he winning Michi? Yeah. Could we be seeing the crowning of a new Michi king? See what needs to happen then is that if Rookie does win this, and you're saying Rookie's a Chinese player, he needs to start getting into the Chinese team into the open maps so that they can participate in the next World Cup. It feels really weird to have an Age of Empires team game tournament with no Chinese team. I don't know if there's not a lot of Chinese DM players, which it sounds like there's not really, besides a couple of the DM Michi. But seems shocking that there wasn't a Chinese team. Yeah, and Frost is starting to get pushed back. Like, every once in a while, let's send a few elephants over here to do a little bit, but it's nothing. It's so far away from the trade. On Vooblu, there's a lot. Makes sense. Griffin tried to get Rookie into his team, but he said no. Yeah. It also is one of those things where it's just like, there's so much RM going on right now that it is... I am shocked. In a way, I've had this discussion with Otter, but I am shocked with how much of a good top player representation, top RMer representation we got with how busy it is. Side attacks? Sure, it's some. I mean, it's like squads of 5 elephants at a time. Right? Like, it's never really anything that's going to make much of a difference. It could set up for something like 30 minutes down the road, but I don't know if Frost is ever going to be getting there or surviving that long. Frost Edge? I think so. These Scorpions are just too good. And it's just too, like, elephants against Torsion Edge and Scorpions, I think are just too slow. Frost noticed the hole in the wall, so he's fixed that, which is good. Well, I'm assuming at some point they probably broke through and killed some trade. Oh, a lot of stuck elephants. Though this is the problem with having a little bit more of an overextension, is that the Scorpions are a bit exposed when you can hit them from multiple areas. Yeah, these Scorpions are a little bit more cleaned up. There's so many camels, though. QQ still exists. I assume it's used the same as Woobly. Defensive keeps a little bit late. That's another thing I don't think I was really seeing much of, was Bombard Cannons trying to range the Scorpions. Granted, I think the camel play has been very excellent from Rookie, so probably snipe them pretty easily. You can see here he's going to go snipe the Bombard Cannons. But it is not looking good for our King of DM. I mean, hey, when is Frost needed to do a comeback? Maybe he just wants to add something new to it. He wanted to experience something different. Maybe he's just like, I haven't been down multiple times in a set for a while. I've got to mix it up. 3-0s are a bit boring for Frost. Maybe he wanted to mix it up. We'll see. But this is looking pretty over. Take out that lumber camp. I mean, this is unfortunate because, like, if they were right here, I don't know if Rookie would note it. Like, actually, yeah, this is happening over here. Rookie's so focused forward that these elephants just picking off the reinforcements, which is huge. Oh boy. Oh boy, here they come. Here come the boys. Here come the strong, burly men with explosives. Where are they going? Oh, where are we going? A little bit of Joseph Anderson. Where are we going? Let's go. Let's go. There's too many elephants. No. The elephants are stopping the petards. No. My boys. No. Here comes squad 2. Oh, here they go. No one's noticed. They're through. They made it through. And the camels are outspeeding the petards. Going to raid the trade. Go, petards, go. No. 1, yes. Yes. Go. Where are we going, Philip? Oh, so much death. Come on, Philip, where are we going? Philip the petard. Just chilling. It was the journey that mattered. Now that he's at the destination, he doesn't know what to do. Yeah, this game. This is game over. Come on, Philip. What are we doing, Philip? You've reached a promised land. Is it all that you've ever dreamed of? No need of suicide. Oh gosh. Oh, that's so many camels. Just obliteration. Ross doesn't want to tap out quite yet. Maybe he thinks he can try to... I mean, this is a lot of elephants in the middle. He could try to crack back with a lot of camels in his back lines. Oh, no. Oh, no. Philip. Watch out. Oh, God. Philip has his AirPods in. He can't hear. Philip, there's elephants coming for you. No. Philip. No. No. Oh, God. No. No. Philip. No. Our boy. And, oh. Frost is a monster. Waited to kill Philip before calling the GG. Oh. Not Philip. So sad. He almost got to live. He almost made it out. But poor Philip. Alright, Rookie's up 2-1. He has a power. He needs to avenge. Now he has to avenge Philip. Imagine you shaking the DM world incoming. Yeah. This is pretty crazy. Burmese and the Ethiopians. Oh. That's wrong. I mean, it has to be like Georgians and Hindustanis next, right? Just straight up Hindustanis, Georgians versus Bulgarians, Bengalis. Like, I don't think Mongols are better than Georgians or Hindustanis. Are there any matchups you don't want from either side? That, like, you need to try to avoid? I have to assume, like, Mongols versus Malians probably isn't the most appealing. Who's playing some Xing? Who is Xing? That's, is that Taiwan? Or is that Hong Kong? Is this, what flag is this? We'll get into the game shortly. Plays a lot of deathmatch. Surprised this person wasn't in TDM or in Nations Cup. Appreciate. All right, let's hop in. Oh wait, first I have to do this. Hydration break. All right, let's get into game 4. Malians versus Georgians. Actually seems like a pretty decent matchup for the Malians. Like, if you're going to go up against the Georgians with something, then I feel like Malians are probably pretty decent. Money is on Malians? Yeah, I think this is like the best matchup we could have hoped for. Farimba Cav with their heavy cav with Farimba. They get all the walls they need. They get keep. Only Scorpion and only capped ram. So that definitely hurts a little bit, but like they get heavy camels. Missing the last attack upgrade, but that's fine because you have Farimba. What are the signs on your blackboard? Those are the pools from the live drawing for Deathmatch Nations Cup. I just haven't bothered to move them yet because I'm lazy. So down there is our pool, hidden behind my Minnesota sweatshirt. But yeah, it's actually been very nice for me because if I'm working on anything, overlay, yeah, true. Anomaly distracted me with talking about the thing. But it's been very nice because if I'm ever working on something and I need to know who's in what pool, I can just turn my head around and look at that. So it's been a very nice reference when I'm doing like admin work and on papers and stuff. Process Hindus, yes. What's up, Mark? Noob arrival? Hey, I mean, I'm the noob here. So he'd win game 5, therefore. If show civs, yeah. Yeah. We got time. We're caught up to live. Yeah, Hindus is game 5 versus Bengalis. AoE 1 DM community is very huge in China and Vietnamese. Yeah, AoE 1 is... Oh, is that the Vietnamese flag? No, that has a star. Yeah, that's what I thought. No, it's not Taiwan. Hong Kong flag. Okay, it is Hong Kong. Okay. So that would be like, okay. So, Hindu 8 Bengalis before? Yeah. AoE 2 DM is pretty dead. I mean, a little bit, yes. You have to, oh, every time. You have to remember that I think AoE 1 is arguably bigger than AoE 2 as a whole because of like Vietnam and cuz like I think like Vietnam AoE 1 at one point is just like dwarfs the rest of AoE 2. Hindu should also cross Bolgs. Yeah. He was probably saving them. Like he was probably trying to get some good matchups and stuff. Don't pick Bengali against Hindus. Yeah, I think Hindus like this is very much this game kind of I think decides everything. You can't ask AoE 1 DM players to come to AoE 2. Yes. No, it is. It is. I mean, you're talking to some. We play AoE 2. Like there's 2 other games past AoE 2, right? Like there's AoE 3 and AoE 4. We're stuck in AoE 2. I'm a Melee player. There's been 3 games. There's been 3 Smash games since Melee. I'm not moving off of Melee. I like the game that I like. I don't blame them for that. I do, like, from a pure gameplay perspective, you could argue that maybe AoE 2 is more interesting, but, yeah, no, AoE 1, I think, does dwarf a lot on AoE 2 in certain regions. I think AoE 2 is the more, like, Western kind of popular game, which makes sense, but I know in AoE 1, like they added the Viet to AoE 1 in the like remastered edition purely, even if it didn't make sense for the time, purely because there was there's such a big Vietnamese scene for AoE 1. Like I think the biggest Age of Empires streamer is the Vietnamese streamer who like streams on either Facebook still or YouTube or something. And like that person I think like is like triple or quadruple T90 viewer size. Who won more from the market? It's what, page down? Nope, that's mute. Oh, that's screen capture. I don't know. Chim yes, yeah. We have left the finals to Vietnam and Smash Boys. I'm bored of the idea of making a China or Vietnam team completely for AoE 2 DM. Hope there's change. I mean, with how Deathmatch Nations Cup is going, with how popular it's been, I think there is, and with how many new regions we have, like Iceland and India, who have, like, I think a lot of them are playing, even Switzerland. Like, we had Daisy, sure, but, like, Daisy has coached the rest of her team, and Switzerland's looking so good for a team that only one of them have played DM before. There is definitely room for it. Like Shing, I saw, is like a Hong Kong team. Like, I think there is room to get some of those countries there next time. There's another Bengali Hindu where Bengalis won, but you can't find it. Yeah. So, yeah, I think with Hindu being remaining is going to mean that Frost, if Frost wins this game, he probably wins the set. Tried saying a lot about a lot of top players join, but a lot of Vietnamese just don't like playing in foreign tours for now. Understandable, especially with the time zone scheduling issues that we've had over the past week or so. With two of the offending players being in this chat, or one of the offending players being in chat and currently on stream. Cough cough me. But or our team, NASA isn't great at scheduling, we found. I think the way to do this, Griffin, would be to do like a regional or like a smaller region tournament. Like do like Asian countries tournament or something, so everyone's in the same time zone for sure. And then use it as kind of like a springboard to be like, hey, this is what a DM tournament's all about. Well, don't worry about doing the international big tournament yet. Do this, and then once you get them hooked, first taste is free. Griffin took over the finals. I mean, it is the 15-minute treaty, right? We have 30 more seconds until something important happens. And we've talked about the Civs matchups a little bit, right? Like, there's not much to talk about. It's like it's Camels versus Manaspa, and Towers. So, but is Frost about to lose? Yeah, and we'll have another 30 minutes to talk about it. So, I'm fine chilling out. I also did say that this cast was going to be more of a chill kind of cast. It wasn't going to be my normal shout casting, because it is still very early for me. So, Griffin, don't let Otter bully you. But cut on the top side. No cutting from Rookie. Okay, now he's cutting in the middle a little bit. You have the Svan Towers kind of populated around. Svan Towers, of course, very, very good with the pierce through damage. And this is a big push from Frost. I mean, that's kind of how he won game 2, was just this massive siege ram push that I don't think his opponent expects. Like, I don't think this is a standard opening for most games, right? Most DM Michi games, I don't think opens with massive amount of siege rams. Maybe this is a Frost thing. Maybe this is a more standard approach than I think. But it feels like every once in a while, like, Frost has just been like, hey, you're going to expect our standard cut. I'm going to try to get this early damage, get some early pudding. I really wish he would send villagers forward and try to get these super early walls, like he usually does. But like, he's already made it through a line of walls. He's making it through another one, and it's like the fight is going to be on the field of Rookie. Rookie doesn't have a lot on the field right now. Doesn't have a lot of military. I mean, he has 75 military on the field, so he has not transitioned out of his treaty eco quite well. He's still pop capped. He probably needs to delete some villagers. He has 213 villagers still. And Frost is just chewing through these walls, and there's no answer. Frost could just get another 20-minute game. What an opening, and now the towers, just like in the Donjon Rush. I guess move over Siege Onager Frost. Tower Frost is where he's at. And now the Manaspa coming through, and that many Manaspa, like, there's still... Like, how? What happened? Now I am upset. Maybe Otto was right. Maybe we should have been talking more about the match, because the match is almost over. Instant deletes the market. Planning ahead. Getting the mid-market going, because he's already in the trade. There's no other cut either. There was at least a little bit of an attempt to cut here. Like, Trebs are up to try to deal with some of these towers, but those spawn towers make cutting so much more difficult. And Frost's through. Check the unit pathing where Rookie's army is coming from. It's all coming from there. And now we see Cavalier? That can't be right. Is the Cavalier just trying to snipe the siege? Oh no. They're all here hyping themselves up to try to go into fight. here comes the camels. Taking this all out. But this is such a huge... Oh, and there's a mid push. Looks like there may have... Yeah, the Trebs got there. Castle is here. Fortified churches are as well. And the Svan Towers, so... Even though this little aggression is nice, it's not going to find any damage. And even when Rookie pushes this back, all these Svan Towers are going to be hell to push into. Even more so than the Donjons. He's coming from the side, so he's attacking Frost's army from the side while Frost's army is still advancing. Yeah. But now he has better military numbers, but he was below 100 military for that entire opening sequence. He never deleted his vills. Like, he's down here, but he was at 200 vills for way longer than he should have been. He has to win quickly. Rookie wins by a long shot in resources. Yeah. He's kind of doing it, though. I mean, if the game just stayed here and you just ran the numbers, does the shorten trade just make it so much more difficult? We see ranges coming out for the Malians. Are we going to see Arbalests? Are we seeing any hand cannons? Cav archers? What do ranges do? Okay, it is going to be hand cannons. Rookie always gets these 200k wood banks, yeah. Punishing quickly is the way. Like I said, I mean, I need some DM, like, Michi experts. I mentioned this, but I don't think there was ever really a conversation because we were talking about some others. Like, it just turned into such a massive stomp right away. But do other players open with, like, 20 siege rams? I don't think I've seen that other than these 2 games from Frost. Like, super early, like, not all-in aggression, but, like, instead of us, like, a big clash or something, it is a no. You're going to have, if you give me a slight inch, I'm going to take a mile. He can move straight to that side of the map. Yeah, we saw that in not to spoil anything, but one of the greatest sets of the tournament of Deathmatch Nations Cup. We saw that happen in who played yesterday? It's too early in the morning for me. Shit. It was France, Netherlands. Netherlands, yeah. And Netherlands took the full trade at one point. The game that anointed Zhao as king. What's up, why don't you say hi? Yeah, that was hilarious. I mean, it is always one of those things that I wonder about because of, like, geometry. Like, would it make sense? The answer is no. But, like, if you're to, like, theoretically, for free, be able to reorganize your entire base, you would want this market here, right? If you've secured all this area, you could have it here, and you gain maybe a few extra pieces of gold. The problem is, of course, all the buildings in the way. But if that wasn't an issue, moving your market slowly along the wall to extend the distance it travels would be pretty big, right? And that anointed Zhao and immediately Frost falls. Well, I don't know if Frost falling is... The rumors of his demise might be greatly exaggerated. We see more Svan Towers, so this corner is just completely controlled by these Svan Towers. So, the resources in the long run, yeah, might be favoring Rookie, but he doesn't have a full trade. He doesn't have complete trade. We even see Halberdiers. Don't try to replicate what Frost... This is when my advice for everyone... I always joke, like, whatever you see, Frost, like, I was telling Otter when he wasn't walling enough at this, like, when I started casting him in Michi, I was like, just look at what Frost does and do that. And then you see Frost do things like add Halberdiers in a Michi game against hand cannons, and, yeah, you should have tried that at home, kiddos. So, and now here comes the push. Never do what Frost does. Do what Frost does if it is the recommended thing. Because when Frost does the recommended thing, he does the recommended thing correctly and better than anyone else. When Frost does things that aren't recommended, no one else gets away with it. Just do it right. Well, if you can take the vibes from it. Like this tower creep, huge. Take the tower creep. Take the wall, spiderweb walls in the other sets. And now the trade's falling again. Hand Cannon's desperately trying. I do not think Hand Cannons are a great matchup against Manaspa. Manaspa just going to run past. They don't even get the good gunpowder stuff, right? Yeah, they don't get any bonus. And the Manaspa just going to chew through these guys. I mean, a lot of hand cannons there. But another market is going to go down. The Halberdiers push in the middle. Just ends up being terribly bad. Yeah. There's things you should try to mimic Frost, but you shouldn't try to assume that his thing always works for everyone. Trade is going into weird plays, but yeah, Rookie taps out. So Frost knows his game plan. He can't beat Rookie long. If it goes long, he loses. Crazy. All right, we got a game 5. It's only been 2.5 hours, and we're getting to game 5. We had one massive game. We had a short game. We had a medium to long game, and then we had another short game, and now we have game 5. Now we've reached the end. I don't know, Anomaly, if you want to do a post in the Discord and just be like, hey, it's game 5 for all the marbles. Get your ass in here for the Gauntlet Discord. But look like they've loaded up. Let's take a minute or so and talk about this. So that was Georgian's win and Malian's loss. I mean, it's got to be Hindustanis, right? It is going to be Hindustanis from Frost. I don't think there's a world where you ever play Mongols, even into a better matchup, right? And I don't think Mongols have a better matchup against Bulgarians and Bengalis. We've been talking about how Bengalis have gotten stomped by Hindustanis, but would Bulgarians be better against Hindustanis than Bengalis? That's the question. What are people thinking? What are people feeling? Does Frost go with another 20 ram push? Does Frost go with a more standard game? Try to do a multi-open now that he's on a camel sieve compared to the previous times when he was doing all the elephants and stuff? What are people thinking? What are people saying? There's 28 people in chat. There's too many people here and not have an opinion. We're not budging until some people give me an opinion. Rather Bengalis than Bulgarians? Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. If he wants to speed... Hey, what's up, Daywalker? If he wants to speed press a few sides, I think Mongols would be better. That is true. Frost is losing the long games, so he could try to do an all-in with Mongols. That would be quite the strategic play. I think that would be a mistake because Hindustanis. Hey, Hamza, it is live indeed. We're about to jump into game 5. I just wanted to get opinions on what people think is going to happen. So, Otter, if you want to do a Gamba for game 5, I don't know if I have polls or anything like that, but Hindu versus Bengalis, what do you think? Yeah. But who do we think is going to win? Also, hello, Daywalker and Hamza. Hope you're doing well. What's up, Ula, as well? Hindu should win for both civs. Yeah, like, this is... Frost may have been down 2-1, but he ended up with the best civs at the end. So, it's going to be a tough battle uphill for Rookie to try to get the upset. I do need to do this first, because Age of Empires. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's get underway. That's not the right one. This is the one. It is the Bengali Hindustani. Kind of what everyone expected. Imp Camel Spam and Hand Cannoneers and Siege Elephants? Yeah. Maybe playing Bulgarians and Malay would have been more useful? Yeah. And Caravan for trade. Oh, I should have, that's team game. We want this. Oh, we're right into it. All right, in that case, I am going to go grab water before it starts. Because there is going to be a hype. I have a minute for this. Everybody gamble your mint leaves. I do have to say I am very grateful for how the order of the games went, with game one being 2 hours long, or 2 hour game time long, because that meant that when I slept through my alarm this morning, I was still able to catch up and and watch everything. My biggest fear was that a game one was going to be a stomp, and I would be behind by a game and not know what the result truly was, and have to recast or something like that. So it worked out. All right, I probably should have gone taking a piss or something, but we'll survive. All right, let's get underway. Rookie will be able to save more resources, only have to worry about frost cannons. Yeah. Lack of heavy scorpions in the Hindustani will lead to its defeat. Interesting. Yeah, I suppose scorpions are much more important in this than most places. All right. We should be live. Welcome to the grand finals of the Gauntlet. We have the GOAT himself, Frost, with the Hindustanis on the top side. Divided between on a very regular line, no shenanigans of short sides. On the other side, Rookie with the Bengalis, trying to upset the favorite, trying to be the first one to dethrone the king, having won 2 long games already and losing 2 short ones. Woodlines, a little rough for Rookie, but those can be taken care of very quickly. Frost, on the other hand, has much worse woodlines, needs to get those taken care of right away to get the trade going. And efficient. Rookie 1 market. How do I see... I need to page up. I have a 65% keep... Okay, hold on a sec. I did this last time. Layers. Layer 1. Oh, it's delete. Okay. Okay. So layer 1 should just be... Cool. There we go. Okay. I forgot where it was. Yeah, Rookie won the market. Though Frost did sell food and wood, it looks like. It looks like Rookie only sold stone. Page down. 65% suck. Sorry, not sorry. No, that's fair. It's better than a 60% because I have an extra row, so I can have an actual arrow keys for like maneuvering on like text documents and stuff. What's up, Lucky? Frost having Hindustanis for game 5 is crazy. Yeah, the fact that it worked out for him is crazy. I think the single biggest like deciding factor was Frost calling out the hero shot of playing Sicilians against Malay game 2. This was the eco round to save eco rounds, and Frost called it out, going down 1-0. He played Sicilians into Malay. Like, the fact that he called the double eco and won the double eco was crazy. I think most players in that situation would have played a much stronger Civ at that point, and that would have made a much better situation for Rookie. But the Sicilians into Malay play was wild, and pretty much like then it became a best of 3 with actual good civs left. So that was quite the big deal. I actually am going to take this time to go run to the restroom real quick. So it was Slav's first game one. Yes, yeah, and yeah, it is crazy that like it's going to game 5, and we've been talking about how Frost doesn't seem to be at the top of his game today. Like it feels like on the longer games, he's just not been playing like we're used to seeing from Frost. So, cool. I am going to go run to the restroom. I'll leave y'all here to set up. Please give me some narration of what happens while I'm gone, so I can, Twitch has too many ads. So Yeah, it would be an add to nicer country flags. It would be. Frost is Sweden. Rookie is China, right? I want to get the flags right. China. Please, before I... Let me know if that's incorrect. It does block the emblems, though. It doesn't look great. That is kind of annoying, but we'll leave that. Feel free to debate it, and I'll come back in a minute or so. I'll be right back. If there is stuff, ooh, the caravans are already up for Frost. Instant Force. Interesting thing that Rookie's a little bit late pop capping it, right? Like, the eco start from Frost is really good. But okay, I need to run before the treaty ends, so I'll be right back. All right, I am back just in time. How are we looking for the buildup? Looks like Frost has a little bit of a buildup on the south side. Where's the buildup for Rookie? Rookie is building up in the middle. We have hit 15 minutes, and the push is underway. Frost starting to cut. We have Rookie starting to cut on the middle. Not many walls up for Frost, like we said before. That is, once again, a lot of Rams coming in at the start. So Frost, once again, trying to keep this game relatively shorter by doing some immediate building damage and immediately trying to break through. In the middle, on the other hand, we just have Elephants and Frost keeping some army in reserve, sending some camels over there to get ready to deal with this. But that's a lot of onagers. They're going to start chopping into this area. Camel's going to start trying to engage here. I did unmute my microphone. Good. But now here comes this fight. Unfortunately, the Elephants are a bit badly positioned, so they have to make it through the army first before they can get onto the walls. And there they go. And there's now the Elephant Archers coming out from the Bengalis to deal with some of this. Elephants not being used, a little bit indecisive here. And now they go. And there's those secondary walls we love to see from Frost. They're still not attacking the walls. This is some rough micro from Frost, not what we were expecting to see. They're just standing by. Elephants aren't actually doing anything here. This push is not as deadly as it should be. The siege elephants, okay, finally they start attacking. In the middle, though, is a massive force from Rookie. And I think Frost needed to get a little bit more done faster. But here come the elephants from Rookie, trying to open up the way as well. But a lot of camels are starting to join the fray, and they are going to start chewing through these elephants. However, the onagers here should help out quite a bit. And they're going to flatten a lot of these camels, and down to one wall. Frost still is on the back foot in the middle, but he is through over here. The armored elephants now actually doing stuff. Now actually attacking. Still a little bit slow. But, okay, nice micro taking out the onagers. And these elephants are going to start powering through. The camels have made it through a little bit. They're into the eco. The gates being opened by the elephant archers. These camels are going to cause problems. And, in the middle, this is going pretty poorly for Frost. I think Frost was a little bit slow on the get-go from here, meaning that a little bit of damage was able to be done by Rookie. Castles aren't really in the best situation for defending against this, and the elephants are through in the middle. We're going to end up with a bit of a base trade. Is the era of Frost over? It very well could be. But camels are raiding the villagers, taking out units here and there. The elephants are onto the second wall. Camels are continuing to cause problems against these elephant archers. In the middle, however, this push has completely gone through. There is a lumber camp wall. There is not a lot of secondary walls. And there's a lot of Imperial camels here for the Hindustanis that could probably clean this up pretty quickly if they get there and have enough numbers, but they get hit by an onager shot. There's a lot of HP they needed to engage onto these elephant archers. Elephant archers, of course, are going to be very tough to engage into. And yeah, elephant archers do very well against small armies, but there's two small armies. This is the push we were expecting to see, and this forest wall is actually going to be a very nice deterrent from Frost being able to sneak through fully on the side. Frost seems like he's committing very heavily to the side push. You see the forces continue to spread through there, and the elephants are through on the side as well. There is a lot less of not a lot of forces in the middle for Frost. He is committing heavily to this push, but he is losing the middle of his base. This is going to be turning into a base trade. I think this was avoidable by Frost, but Rookie is through. Elephants are in. Imperial camels are going to be able to have a pretty good chance at picking off the straggler elephants here and there. And with some of the elephants breaking off, camels might have a better shot at engaging onto the elephant archers. Meantime, in the south, the elephants starting to come over here to try to deal with the armored elephants. It is just elephants left and right. And here come all the elephant archers. Looks like Rookie has decided not to go for the base trade. This massive camels is going to be so dangerous to deal with. And they're going to engage, and these elephants are clustered up. The onager shots need to land into this elephant. Micro isn't there from Frost, but they are going to cleaned up. But this would have been so much faster had those onagers landed some shots there. In the middle, that is getting cleaned up. Frost should survive there without too much damage. This left side has been damaged pretty badly. The elephants could break through this final wall. There's only one wall remaining, but they're going after farms. And they're going to be broken down with the SOs. Instead, it looks like Villager's going to come over and try to break through. Does he get there in time? He does get the wall up. No micro. The elephant archers have massed up to a massive amount. Does take out the Villager. The middle has been pushed back. A lot more forces are coming in, though, so Rookie's making kind of a crackback here, but the walls have gone up for Frost. And they're through. Market has been deleted. Once again, Frost with a very early rush, taking out the market from his opponent. However, this time he doesn't have the towers to help secure the side. There's a lot of army here from Rookie. Cutting off the reinforcements, the forward forces here. Needs to send these elephants forward, and they're going to go. But this should get cleaned up. So even though the trade has been delayed quite heavily, it is not a finishing blow from Frost. So Rookie is going to hang on and survive. Will be annoying. The camels are going to get trapped in here. I would almost love to see a villager come over here and just trap them all in there. Be like, yes, you thought it was all a ploy. But an exciting start to this match. And I think at the very least, Frost did a lot of production damage over on this left side. It's going to be hard. It's going to have to be a lot of spiderweb walls from Rookie once he pushes this back to be able to secure it. And then he also might have to consider making production over here. But this is always going to be an angle for Frost to attack. I would love to see forward walls from Frost as well. The otter walls, as I like to call them now. Cut off some access to this wood. But in the middle, it's stabilized a little bit. It definitely is in Rookie's favor in the middle with these elephant archers and some more siege rams coming forward. Rookie needs Scorpions bigly. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to... It's always dangerous to make Scorpions against Frost, knowing how much he loves his siege onagers. I'm going to sneeze. You are being an example of someone who does forward walls to a worrying degree, and you go down to 0 wood, and then wall, and then try to chop behind it when it works. But should have rushed the Gaia market. That cannot be deleted. But yeah, but you can't you can't damage it, right? It should be invulnerable, isn't it? Yeah, it has like 1,000 armor. Oh, I see what you're saying. Is you go in there and you just then you can kill the trade. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm an idiot. Yep. Yep. But he's pushing here. I mean, I think Rookie decided to send a bunch of elephant archers forward without a lot of siege support, and these elephant archers aren't really doing much until the siege elephants get here, and it's given a chance for Frost to really push in here and doing a lot of damage. The Trebs are very far forward. Another market has to be deleted. And there's elephants trapped in the wall, in the zoo, with villagers. So that is... How much population? 13 population that isn't able to be involved in the fight. Trebs continue to rain down fire everywhere. I mean, this is going to start getting cleaned up a little bit, but this is a little bit problematic here, but there's plenty of time for elephants here. Frost might have clutched it. Yeah, I mean, it was looking kind of dicey, but I think the problem was Rookie went to the left where there's castles as opposed to the right where there's there's an opening here, right? Like if he had attacked through here, he could have started pressuring the trade as well. But Frost continued to cause problems on the side. Couldn't send the elephants forward and just be annoying and try to free these villagers. You know, walls have gone down. And look at Frost. Cheesing up ahead and stealing his opponent's wood, making some forward production buildings. This is the Frost we know and love. We love to see. I'd love to see some mid walls though. But yeah, this push is only elephant archers and is cleaned up. And actually adding the siege elephants here might have been a mistake. But they can clean up some of these forward production buildings, some of these houses, some of these siege workshops, and make it so you can't really crack back at all. We do see this good push here. Frost no food. 173 in queue. You couldn't resist the woodless range units? Yeah. No gold for Rookie. Oh, I didn't even see that all the trade got deleted. We'll review that. I was looking at other stuff. But yeah, Rookie's dead. 84 trade carts. All camping here. This is he's camping all of his units and trying to keep them and then gonna go try to clean that up. But this is just gonna give time for Frost just to completely wipe out the rest of the base. Wipe out this army. 1-2 to 3-2, yeah. We may have the rumors of his demise. And like Frost knows he has that winning position and is just camping here. So he's taking this time to just completely decimate the front lines and just make it so that even if it's cleaned up, yeah. So let's look back real quick. So there's a couple in there. Just a few. Where does he break through? I mean, actually, no, that's a bunch in there. Okay, and then he breaks through here and just runs in with all of these. What was a Hindustani team bonus? Cameos +2 attack versus buildings. God, yeah, that's disgusting. But wow, yeah. Well done from Frost. Coming back from a 2-1 deficit winner interview. Sure. I have to pull up my Discord. If Frost is around. I guess I haven't really done an interview before, but I'm happy to do so. Let me just blow my nose real quick. All right, Nosebone. It is grand finals. He does have to. Sure, that makes sense. Where is a voice chat in here? That's chat boxing. All right. If Frost is around for an interview, if he hops into chat, let me message him in Discord. Don't want to spoil it. All right, appearance, streamer mode. We are. But yeah, GG's to both players. Rookie showing that he had a chance to dethrone the king. That was such. That was like, I cannot get over just how good Rookie played, right? Oh, hey, Frost. Can I.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
congratulations, GG.
GG.
Another
Thank you.
tournament won by the king of DM.
Oh boy.
That was it looked dicey for a second there. Rookie played really well.
Yeah, it went all the way. It was interesting. It was a really good set.
Yeah. It was I think people were kind of surprised it went to a game 5 and especially that first game went 2 hours, which was nice cuz I was a little bit late to showing up, but yeah, the Celts versus Slavs matchup, that's not a very good matchup for the Celts, right?
Yeah, I didn't feel good with Celt Paladins versus Boyar.
Mhm.
And eventually I just couldn't like stop his Boyar. I think I ran out of res or
Mhm.
something. Eventually he just pushed through. I couldn't stop him at all.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you didn't really do much like flank attacks or like cut through additional cuts that much. You're kind of focused on the middle in that game. Is that just kind of like how you have to do it with the Celts?
I think you have to do it against Slav since you need scorpions to deal with this boyar, and you cannot really station like scorpions all over the map because you're gonna be like on a very small army then.
That makes
So
sense.
I just wanted to fight him on one spot really,
Hmm.
and but it still didn't work.
Yeah, it's a tough matchup, especially like once he gets to that late game with like Slav farms and crop rotation starting to kick in. Um,
Yeah.
So, and then game 2, that was probably the craziest. I think that was kind of a super important one because it was a double eco round where both of you went for your lowest civ and felt like it was a mind game where I don't know, like walk me through what your thought was for picking the Sicilians game 2.
Like I had no idea what civ he would go for, and I really wanted to try Sicilians. And then I saw he picked Malay, so I was really happy with that matchup.
Yeah, because
And
it felt yeah.
also, and also the way the map spawned, I think it was very good for Sicilians. Like it felt like you could get very close to the trade immediately after you just cut through, since it was like not really a straight line of the wood. It was a little bit diagonally.
Yep.
So I think that was good.
Yeah, the short or the diagonal generations as I call them, where you
Yeah,
have the short sides, it is massive, and you just had that really fast push, and you did the Zerg creep strategy of just adding all those donjons. I do
yeah.
think I do think that he was hoping to catch you since you were down 0-1. I think he was hoping to like use his melee into one of your more powerful civs, thinking that you might have had to want to play a power civ and just be like, all right, well, you have to burn a power civ. Like, if you could have gotten Hindustanis versus Malay, I think you'd have been way
Uh-huh.
happier because that would just been like, all right, don't have to worry about Hindustanis. Um,
Yeah, yeah. I really wanted to save my Hindus for his Bengalis, and he just like never kept playing with his Bengalis. So I just kept like saving my Hindustanis as well.
And then it was game 5, and we were looking at it. We're just we'll get to game 5 in a second.
Yep. Yeah.
But so now one thing I did notice in game 2 and game 4 and kind of game 5 or something is you went very heavy in the siege ram push right at the gate, right? Like I feel like is that not something you see very often? Is that a specific strategy, or do you always try to just add some siege rams at the very start and hope for some damage?
No, but I like after the games, like I could see that he hadn't really built that much on the sides, like in the games I lost. So I thought like, okay, I just go all in on the sides, and just hope I can wall and hold in the middle wherever he cuts, and it should work.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it worked quite well
Yeah.
because he didn't really build that much on the sides. So if you just
No.
push all in there, you can maybe get to the trade.
Yeah, I think that might be if Rookie rewatches this, and that might be something he might notice and need to improve on. But it was definitely a good thing to notice from you and a great adaptation, and really showed in games 2, 4, and 5. For game 3, that was another long one. That
Ah, yeah,
was
the
try to remember.
Burmese one,
Burmese, yeah, that was Burmese versus
Ethiopians.
Ethiopians. Yeah, that's I think that's just a tough matchup. Taurus and Scorpions are just so deadly.
I honestly thought I could like outlast him with wood, so I didn't really go for that push that I was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I couldn't stop the Scorpions. They were insane.
Yeah,
They were so strong.
it's one of those where it's like elephants are great and everything, but against scorpions, it's very tough because by the time they get to the scorpions, they've taken so many shots. Whereas like if you were playing a more like as a paladin civ or something, like they would have been able to get there and maybe get some
Yeah.
hits off before getting nuked. So definitely a rougher matchup, but mobility was there. Did you Otter's asking, did you consider going harder on side pushes in game 3? Because it did feel like that was another one where it's like there's so many scorpions in the middle. If you just attack on the sides, maybe you'd be doing some damage.
Well, I kind of felt I messed up in that game. Like we were fighting that middle in the middle area, and then I felt like I can never go to the side because if I go to the side, like everything will just collapse so fast in the middle. So
That
I felt like
yeah.
I was stuck just fighting there forever, and it
Mm-hmm.
just like slowly went worse and worse and worse, and I couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, I did. We did see you add like 4 or 5 elephants to the sides every once in a while, just to like poke and prod and see if you could get anything. But
Hmm.
it's yeah, you're as you said, like it is such a dangerous death ball in the middle. You didn't really have much room to push elsewhere.
Yeah, like
Um,
I would have had to like attack immediately at like when the treaty ended,
yeah.
but I didn't do that game.
Mm-hmm. Odd also asking like, what if you had added some petards, like 20 petards, 20 elephants on the side, just to try to immediately snipe through to the. I actually don't think we saw petards at all from you in this entire set.
Uh, I made a few in the last game, but no, I
Okay.
didn't really do them in any of the other games.
Yeah. If you rewatch the cast for whatever reason, in game 3, when
Uh-huh.
rookie he did a bunch of petard plays and you sniped most of them. There was one that made it into your trade line and just stood there for like 10 minutes, and
Oh,
then
okay.
you went and killed him and immediately GG'd. It was very, very sad to watch our
It was a symbolic resign at that point.
exactly. He had to kill the one petard. Petards aren't allowed to
Yeah.
live through the game. And then game 4 was very similar to the Sicilian game with between the towers, the very fast side rush. As you said, like you noticed how weak he was on the flanks, and you just pushed straight through. Was there any other decisions you kind of came up with for what you wanted to play? Like George, like, was Mongols ever a consideration for that game, or Hindustanis?
No, no, because like he still had Bengalis, and I was like, okay, I really hope he doesn't play Bengalis in game 4 because like I didn't want to burn my Hindustanis there versus his I don't know Malians or Bulgarians because then I would be screwed in a game 5.
Mm-hmm.
So I was lucky that he didn't go Bengalis in game 4. I think that's why I went with Georgians. to save the Hindustanis.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then just similar to game two, like you said, the super fast push on the side just was so dangerous and so deadly.
Yeah, like you don't need that much wood if you go with that tactic. You just hope for a short game, basically.
Yeah, and he got there. So, um,
Yeah.
and then game five is really just a very similar thing. A little bit dicey in the middle from the push, but
Mm.
I mean, I assume you probably felt really good knowing that once you got to game five, having Hindustanis still and being like, it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't know if there are bad matchup for Hindustanis in this mode, but Bulgarians and Bengalis are definitely not bad matchups. So,
I think like Gujara probably can beat Hindustanis,
mhm,
and that's basically why I sniped Gujara, so I could play Hindustanis like unopposed somewhere.
that makes sense. Yeah, and then
So
like
yeah.
I don't know if there's much to talk about in game five besides you just had that massive push, and it's really just been a story of when you weren't dealing with the death ball in the middle, you just got these side pushes and a little bit of weakness on the sides from rookie, and you're able to
Hmm.
push all the way
Yeah,
through.
like he's very strong in the middle, so kind of wanna avoid fighting him there.
Yeah, did
Like
you
take
did
the
you
fights to the sides.
did you scout that at all ahead of the set, or was this just something you noticed after game one?
No, I noticed it after game one.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I try to adapt to that.
hmm Anyone in chat have any questions? Oh, Otter's asking. He noticed you walled. Like, actually, we all kind of noticed. I brought it up a bunch. You seem to wall a lot less in this finals than usual. Was that civs? Was that strategy? Was that not being on top of your game right now? It felt like you had
Uh,
less walls.
I think I'm just I don't know. I'm not really used to walling anymore. Like
You're in Deathmatch
uh,
Nations Cup mode.
yeah, exactly. No, I don't know. I definitely didn't wall as much as I used to, but I
hmm
feel like some of the matchups, I guess it doesn't really matter. Like if I try to drag a 3 hour game with Celts, like I'm gonna lose anyway. So there's
Right.
no point walling like 15 layers of walls,
That makes sense.
since I'm gonna lose anyway.
Yeah, because it's like I think casted one of your earlier sets and stuff, and like even in this game five, the push on the left side, I feel like you would have
Hmm.
normally walled up a couple times in that gap just to make like extra secure, but felt like
Yeah.
you said it was you didn't really feel like you needed either didn't think about walling or didn't feel like you needed it because you were being so aggressive. So
Yeah, I didn't really feel like I needed it on the left side, but in the middle, I really needed like I don't know, 10 layers of walls.
yeah. Also, I think it was game one and one especially, but you had some horrible gaps in the back in your trade wall. Uh,
Ah, yeah,
oh
yeah. I thought I plugged it up, but apparently I didn't.
no, because like there was
I had to
one
start from
wall,
that.
there's a big hole that you had missed from the opening, and then you
Yeah.
fixed that, and then there was a hidden gap that I hadn't noticed before either. Um,
Yeah. I thought I plugged it up after I saw it, and then I apparently didn't do that either. So
yeah,
he was
unfortunate.
able to raid her.
Um, as Otter's asking, as this was close, when are you ready to let someone else win a finals? Is it going to be Deathmatch Nations Cup, or is it?
Oh,
Are you?
I really hope it won't be for Nations Cup.
Yeah.
It has to come later at some point.
Mm-hmm. It was we were trying to figure out earlier where because like Otter was like I know when Frost like the last DM tournament that wasn't won by Frost, but we were trying to figure out if there was one that a Michi tournament that hadn't been won by you anytime recently, and we couldn't find one. So it's been
Uh,
a pretty undefeated streak for a while.
I think Andy won some kind like a 1 day event like a
Mm,
few years ago against me. I think that's the last time someone won Michi,
yeah.
other than me, I guess.
Has it have you do you know if you've gone to like game fives before like this? Like is this the farthest you've been taken in a set for a long time for Michi, especially?
Yeah, since that set against Andy. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, it is I think people are very impressed with how Rookie played. Um
Yeah, he played very well. He's a
mhm,
very strong player. Very hard to play against.
yeah. Yeah, any other questions from chat? Any other people want to know strategies about what they're saving in their back pocket for DMNC? You know, leak some strategies. But Anomaly had one. Oh yeah, how did Frost 7 and Frost 8 make such a dominating child in Frost 9? Will there be a Frost 10 in the future?
Oh boy.
Will there be an entire team? If we ever do a deathmatch hidden cup, instead of doing the heroes like they do for RM hidden cup, it's just going to be all different Frost accounts, all different numbers. I
All
think
different
that's
numbers, and you have no idea who's who. Yeah,
that would be pretty
it's an
good.
interesting idea.
Um, awesome. Well, congratulations again. I think I'll let you go if there's no more questions.
Thank you,
Um,
man. Thank you for
yeah.
casting.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah,
It was a fantastic set. I was worried it was going to be a quick 3-0 or a relatively boring set of games, but every single game was a banger. So,
yeah, glad to make everyone happy.
absolutely. All right. Have a good one, Frost, and take care.
You too. GG's. See ya.
GG's. Thank you for the sub, Otter. Awesome cast movie. That's for you. Don't donate. Ooh, you can't stop me. I mean, I guess this wasn't during a DMNC. Rookie, really good player. Yeah, Rookie was number 2 seeded, and took Frost to game 5. Right? Like, it's kind of hard. Like, if anyone takes Frost to a game 5, you kind of have earned being a good player by default, right? Like Frost said, like this is the first time since he lost a set to Andy many years ago in Michi that he's gone to game 5. So this is an amazing showing from Rookie, and I think I think it's one of those things where it's like if Rookie was a little bit better about his flanks, because like that was really interesting to hear that Frost noticed that game 1 and immediately adapted his strategy, and after that point, really just highlighted how good of that adaptation. I deserve more than 250. Eh, it's fine. I needed to be up anyways. It is almost what actually when is the next cast? Easier to comment as a spectator. Yeah. Um when is the next DMNC game? Like, do I hang out and raid? I should know this, but there's a lot of scheduling chats I have to deal with in a bit. Where are my upcoming matches? 2 hours is when Otter. So maybe we can hang out for a little bit. I don't know if there's things otherwise to cast, but playing 2 hours, yeah. So maybe it's time. Yeah, you got to go get your practice reps in. I know you're taking it very good. Absolutely, Otta. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the sub, and thanks for running the polls. Oh, gotta work? Yeah, that too. You gotta work so you can play your game. Right. Go finish your work. Go do that. It's easier to comment as a spectator when in game things feel different. Yeah, Hamza, it is. I mean, there's a reason I'm casting and not playing. I am a terrible player, and I say all this stuff and what you should do and what people should be doing. Like Rookie should be cleaning up his things and stuff. I will never be as good as these players ever. I will never look that good. So I'm very well aware of, it is easy to sit on this throne of being chill and then watch people and criticize them. And it is a very valid criticism in this case because Frost specifically said that that is what he honed in on his strategy after game 1. He identified a weakness and, took advantage of it. And that's something Rookie can learn from. And in these games, if Rookie had better defenses on the flanks, Frost would have had to work a lot harder in games 2, 3, and 5, or 2, 4, and 5 in order to win. Um, because both the games where Frost wasn't able to do that, Rookie was able to maintain a fight in the middle and won both of the games. So it is a when you get to this level, those things matter, and Rookie is good enough that he not that he should know better, but that is something that is valid criticism for a player of his skill because, as you saw here, it was such a detrimental issue. So, but also you have to give massive credit to Frost realizing that game 1 and being like, actually, here is my strategy. I'm changing everything. I am reconsidering what I'm planning on, redoing all of his thoughts and strategies and stuff, and using that as a game plan going forward. And that is the adaptation that you need as being a top player is realizing where your opponent's weaknesses are. The memes coming out towards Ricky. Oh no. Oh no. Let's see. Let's see. Where are there announcements? But okay, don't know where the memes are, but I'm sure there'll be some good fire ones. They're stream friendly in the meme chat. Oh, I did mute. I did. Okay, yeah, I think I muted that because it's a NSFW work page, and so I just don't rely on those. Oh no, memes isn't. Here we go. Let's see, where is today? No, Rookie, don't pick Malay. That's a good one. Rookie trying to avoid his. Yeah, that is. That's a good one. Me looking at Rookie gathering 100k wood and then not making any seeds, your tax confused in front of me. Yeah, that's good. That is very good. It was wild, just the massive wood banks that Rookie was able to build. And like the 2 games where he went long, I guess it makes sense, but it definitely was a situation where I feel like it like this is where you see the gap between Frost and other players. Um, in team game, this works well. That's true, yeah. And it's those small things that like against most players, that's not big of an issue for Rookie. Like clearly, he made it to the 2nd seed or made it to the grand finals. But when you play against Frost, you have to have every aspect of your game perfect, and those aspects weren't. So, anyways, I'm starting to get hungry. I realize it is noon. Did I even pull? I don't think I've even defrosted my salmon, so I might order some food and chill. I'm gonna give a shout out to Lucky Carms specifically because he will be casting Deathmatch Nations Cup. We're gonna be seeing Otter. Let's hope this still works. Okay, I don't have it playing things on my screen, but not Otter AoE. Well, Otter's gonna be playing. I want to do shout outs. Lucky Carms. There we go. So Lucky Carms is going to be casting Germany C or Germany B versus the versus Arabian, right? Let me just double check that I have that correct, or is it Pakistan? It is versus the Arabian team, so that's going to be very good. I do want to thank Anomaly for hosting this tournament. It was very fun to join in on. I'm sorry I wasn't able to cast more, but this is a very draining kind of thing to cast. I think everyone is on the same page there. It's fun, but I can't do too much of it. Also, I had to do all the Deathmatch Nations Cup organization and everything. So thanks for hosting Anomaly. It's been a fantastic showing from everyone. Thank you to Frost and Rookie for making an amazing grand finals. Really highlighting the differences of style and how the DM Michi games can go. Um, and thanks to all the players for making some interesting. Like, congrats to some of the players who, like Otter and Biotine, who made crazy runs way past their seedings. I think like Otter was originally like, oh man, what a crazy upset, and then Biotine was like, hold on, I'm gonna be the one who is just outpacing everyone when it comes to seeding. Um, but this has been a fantastic time, and if there's another one, I'm hoping to. I'm definitely will be around to cast the next one, whenever that is. In the meantime, though, tune into Lucky Carms. Tune in for the rest of Deathmatch Nations Cup. We'll get some more of this on this channel as well in the future. I don't know if I'm doing anything else this week, but probably will at some point. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will catch y'all. Actually, let's find someone to raid. Twitch. Who else is alive? Is there anyone we know? Some Oni team games are going on. Freaking Andy. We can go raid freaking Andy. Speaking of still being the only one, Kingstone's there. Yeah, let's go hit up freaking Andy, right? Raid freaking Andy. Alright. Anyways, that's been it for me. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will catch y'all another time. Go say hi to Andy. And yeah, take care.